And good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Grip.
And I'm Lenise Lagan. So good to see you for this Fox 10 News special event.
That's right. This is a debate featuring the three Republican candidates for Baldwin County Sheriff. We're in the ballroom of Homestead Village of Fairhope, and we want to thank the people here at Homestead Village for letting us use the space.
Oh, yeah. We needed the space, too. We've got a nice crowd here tonight. We are going to be the moderators of this event with a panel of journalists behind me asking some questions, and then I will also be taking some questions from you via social media.
That's right. In addition to this broadcast on Gulf Coast CW, the debate is also being streamed live right now on fox10tv.com, our website. Well, first, let's meet the candidates. Huey Hoss Mack has been sheriff in Baldwin County since 2007 and is the president of the Alabama Sheriff's Association. Sheriff Mack has been married for 26 years. He and his wife have 2 sons. Larry Milstead served as Baldwin County's chief deputy for 18 years. He served on the Emergency 911 Board and is a past president of the Bay Minette Rotary Club. He and his wife have 2 children. Jeff Dunn is a former Baldwin County Sheriff's deputy who now works as an investigator for the District Attorney's Office. Dunn and his wife have 5 children and 4 grandchildren. And now to the members of our panel. Lori Dubose is the general manager of WABF Radio. She has more than 30 years of experience in broadcasting. She lives here in Fairhope with her husband and 2 teenage boys. Brendan Kirby is an investigative reporter for AL.com and its 3 newspaper affiliates. He is based in Mobile and joined the Press Register in 2000, covering the courts, politics, and other topics in Baldwin County. He lives in Daphne with his wife Carrie and 2 children. Cliff McCullum is the managing editor of the Gulf Coast Newspaper Group and is the primary editor for the Baldwin Times. He began his journalism career at the Opelika Observer, where he was the news editor and an award-winning columnist. He's also a former high school teacher and a community college professor. Now, here are the ground rules for tonight's debate. Each candidate will have 2 minutes for an opening statement and then 1 minute for a closing statement at the end of the hour. Answers to the questions from the panel or the viewers will be limited to 1 minute per candidate. Follow-up questions from the panelists will be allowed. And I want to ask the audience once again to make sure your cell phones are off, and also please hold your applause until the end of our debate. No reaction from the crowd, please, to anybody's answer until then. Now, before our debate began, the candidates drew numbers to see who would open first with their opening statements. And Jeff Dunn, you have your opening statement now.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks to Fox 10 for putting on this debate. Thanks for this large audience here. It means a lot that this many people are this excited about this race, and as we are, the 3 of us are, and it's been a lot of hard work into it. But my 19 years in law enforcement, I started at the bottom, the entry level with the sheriff's office, and I've seen things through the years, worked through 2 different administrations, under Jimmy Johnson and also under Sheriff Mack. And I have a different perspective on the department from looking at it from the bottom up and working my way up through the ranks. And I spent 7.5 years in the patrol division, and that's something that gives me an edge over, when my beliefs, over the 2 candidates here, that I'm the only one of the 3 that spent any time in the patrol division. I also have an extensive background in narcotics investigation, over 8 years with the sheriff's office and another 3 years with the district attorney's office. And with the population growth we're facing, there's certain things that I'd like to do. One of those is to start a reserve deputy program so we can boost up our manpower and shift our full-time people in areas we need. And this would enable us to put school resource officers in all the schools, to hopefully start a Marine division, and so on and so on. And that's the beginnings of it. It just could lead to many more things. And I'd also like to stop taxing our law-abiding citizens with this highest pistol permit in the state. I would like to immediately lower it down, because it is a tax. It's called a fee, but if you don't pay the tax, then there's a penalty for it. And that's one of the plans that I plan on doing right off the bat.
All right, Mr. Dunn, thank you very much. Next, Larry Milstead.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Larry Milstead, Republican candidate for Sheriff of Baldwin County. I'm seeking the office of Sheriff of Baldwin County based on a lot of encouragement I've had from citizens of Baldwin County and my personal convictions. I served in the United States Army. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I'm a member of the Vietnam Veterans of American Fraternal Order of Police and the National Rifle Association. I have a passion for our Second Amendment rights. I have degrees in business administration and management. I graduated from the Police Academy in numerous schools and seminars conducted by federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies. I spent most of my law enforcement career with the Baldwin County Sheriff's Office. I served 18 years as your Chief Deputy Sheriff of the Sheriff's Office. And as Chief Deputy, I was responsible for all the divisions of the Sheriff's Office, to include the jail and preparing our fiscal year budget. I taught for 17 years in the Police Academy. My wife, Kay, and I are members of the Daphne United Methodist Church. I've served on the Emergency 911 Board and numerous committees with the Department of Human Resources. I'm seeking the office of sheriff because I have a passion for the law enforcement profession. I feel that I have the experience, education, and demonstrated leadership to take the sheriff's office to the next level here in Baldwin County. Baldwin County is the largest county in the state of Alabama and the fastest growing county in the state of Alabama. 2/3 of Baldwin County is unincorporated. And as such, the prime responsibility of the sheriff is to provide law enforcement protection for the unincorporated areas of the Baldwin County, which is primarily rural, okay? And based on my 14 months of campaigning for this office, I have talked to hundreds and hundreds of people in our unincorporated areas.
Mr. Milstead, time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sheriff Mack.
Good evening. As well as the other candidates, would like to thank WALA for putting this on, and particularly thankful for all the viewers that are viewing us tonight on TV. My name is Huey Hoss Mack. I have the pleasure to serve you as your current sheriff of Baldwin County. I'm a Christian conservative American who is a member of the Republican Party seeking your vote in the June 3rd Republican primary. I grew up in this county. I'm a lifelong native of this county. I went to Robertsdale High School. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and a master's degree in management. I'm a 28-year law enforcement veteran with over 17 years of executive-level law enforcement management experience. I'm a graduate of the National Sheriff's Institute. I'm a graduate of the FBI Executive Development Seminar. I'm a graduate of the Southeast Law Enforcement Executive Development Seminar. I'm a graduate of Leadership Alabama. I'm the past president of the Central Baldwin Chamber of Commerce, past president of the Robertsdale Rotary Club. My wife and sons and I attend Robertsdale United Methodist Church. I have served as your sheriff now for almost 8 years. Your sheriff's office is one of the largest in the state, and I will submit to you it's one of the best in the state, if not the best. A law enforcement agency that's made up of 300 quality men and women, with a 650-bed jail managing a $20 million a year budget. As was mentioned earlier, I currently serve in several aspects of the Alabama Sheriff's Association with the National Sheriff's Association. I believe that your sheriff should serve you and should serve the community. I have a servant heart. As mentioned before, I also have a passion for this office, but it's also an honor to serve you as your sheriff. Tonight, you will hear from us, and tonight I will convey to you my reasons why I am humbly asking for your support to re-elect me as your sheriff in the June 3rd primary. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for your opening statements. Our responses to our first question from the panel will start with the sheriff and then go to Mr. Milstead and then Mr. Dunn. So the first question now is from Lori Dubose. Lori?
Thank you, Bob. This question is for all three candidates. How vital is the Sheriff's Department to an incorporated area such as Fairhope? And what services are provided to cities and municipalities by the department?
Under the Alabama Constitution, the sheriff is basically has three major duties. The first duty is an officer of the court. The second duty is to maintain the county jail. And the third duty is to provide as the primary law enforcement officer for the county. And that primary responsibility does lie with the unincorporated areas of the county. However, all the municipalities are located in Baldwin County. There are certain services that the Sheriff's Office has exclusive jurisdiction over. For instance, as I mentioned, service of court processes, service of different civil papers that come about. These are papers that are not served by your municipal police agencies. There's also aspects as it relates to the courthouses. All three of our courthouses in Baldwin County are located in municipalities, but they are our responsibility. Now, as the primary response in the unincorporated of law enforcement, we are the first responders, but we're also the backup responders for all of our municipal police agencies. From time to time, they do call upon us to come and serve in those incorporated areas. So your sheriff's office is the lead law enforcement agency for all of Baldwin County and services all of the citizens of Baldwin County, whether they live in the city limits or not.
Sheriff Mack, thank you very much. Mr. Milstead.
It is the responsibility of the sheriff to serve the civil documents, which are tens of thousands of documents that come out of our circuit and district court, provide the security for the courthouses. And there are a few other smaller entities that we do provide and services that we provide for the municipal areas. But the prime responsibility of the sheriff is to provide law enforcement protection for the unincorporated areas. And unfortunately, this is not happening. And again, as I said earlier, this is based on many conversations of 2/3 of Baldwin County being unincorporated and talking with the people in the unincorporated areas. Slow response time, no response, no returning of calls, answering of emails. You have to have an appointment to see the sheriff, and they're totally dissatisfied right now with the lack of those services being provided by the sheriff's office. And I believe that is owing to the deputies spending too much time in and around the incorporated areas. These incorporated areas already have police departments.
Mr. Milstead, thank you very much. Mr. Dunn.
Well, one of the things that a lot of people may not understand is that all felony arrests in the county by all the municipalities are housed in the county jail. This is the sheriff's responsibility from that point. And we have to keep this working relationship with the municipalities, and it's a team effort. Crime committed in the cities, it affects everybody in the community. There's drugs in and out of every city, and those drugs not only affect the cities, but they're back and forth from across jurisdictional lines. So we have to have a team response to those issues, or we're never going to make any headway with it. And so it's very important that we build team relationships with the cities, and a lot of the things that the sheriff's office is responsible for inside the cities is serving civil papers. And one of the things that I want to do is with this reserve deputy program that I'm talking about is relieve some pressure. The civil deputies have so many papers, it's like the post office. They never keep rolling in. And they don't have the time to keep repeating if they can't find somebody on location. So this reserve program would help beef that system up, make it more efficient. The business owners, when they have garnishments and stuff like that, this will help the system roll faster.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dunn. Thank you.